The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been kicking butt and cracking wise since their humble beginnings as comic book crusaders in 1983.
Oh, what do you think? Adrian!
They're cool, rude, and of course, they love pizza. The heroes in a Halfshell are about as synonymous with pizza as they are with fighting the Shredder, which led to some pretty memorable promotions with Pizza Hut, both old and recent. In fact, it's fair to say that the pizza delivery boom of the 80s and 90s owes a lot to these radical reptiles. So, today, we're smashing rewind on our boomboxes to find out how the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mutated pizza sales. But before we order up some turtle power, why don't you hit that subscribe button? Then, fight your way down to the comments and let us know what other culinary culture you want to learn about. For now, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. The Ninja Turtles pretty much owned pop culture for a decade between the 80s and 90s, gobbling up fans and just about every type of pizza they could get their three-fingered hands on in the process. That kind of persistent pizza peddling can do a real number on a viewer's appetite, but they started off much smaller and had very little to do with New York-style slices. The story of how 4 common sewer reptiles skyrocketed to fame and took pizza along for the ride begins not in the Turtles' native New York City, but in New England. Back in 1983, struggling artists Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were living in Northampton, Massachusetts, trying to figure out an idea for the next big comic book. As a joke, Eastman doodled a turtle on its hind legs, dressed as a ninja, with nunchucks taped to its arms. Laird not only loved the sketch, but got to work on his own touches to turn the idea into a full-fledged comic. The drawing was expanded into 4 humanoid turtles with a backstory that mirrors the origin story of Marvel's Daredevil, where the same radioactive substance that blinds young Matt Murdock also mutates the 4 brothers and their rat sensei Splinter. They grow into humanoid teenagers and the crime-fighting creatures we know today. So yes, Daredevil and the Turtles exist in the same universe. Incidentally, Daredevil's first appearance was in 1964, which means the Turtles were mutated sometime in the 1950s. No wonder Mikey keeps doing that Bogart impression. You can also see other tongue-in-cheek references to Daredevil, such as the enemies of the Turtles being the Foot Clan instead of Daredevil's the Hand. And Matt Murdock was trained by a master named Stick, while the Turtles learned from Splinter. The pair formed Mirage Studios in 1984, so named because the studio of it all was not much more than a mirage, more like a living room with a couple of tables. But it was enough to create their first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and after scraping together $2,000 of their own money, along with a loan from Eastman's uncle, printed 3,000 copies of issue number 1. After using the remainder of their cash on an ad in Comic Buyer's Guide, the Turtles reached unexpected new heights, leading to thousands more comics being printed and sold. Playmates Toys showed an interest in turning the gritty black and white crime-fighting Turtles into action figures in 1986, but had a few quid pro quos in order to make them more marketable to children. First off, they needed a kid-friendly image, no bloody violence, and perhaps more important, a way to tell them apart. Their black masks became color-coded, with each turtle's initial appearing on their belt buckle. This paved the way for the cartoon series that debuted in 1987 and became an instant hit, finishing its initial run in 1996. At this point, you may be saying to yourself, but why pizza? A lot of the Turtles' backstory was pulled from the comics, but pizza just wasn't on the pages. If anything, those versions of the characters ate nails and chalk dust. So how did these subterranean monsters fall in love with the Za? Well, it turns out the association came about because Eastman and Laird ate a ton of the stuff while working on their comics. Additionally, the head muckety-mucks at Playmates associated pizza with their targeted demographic, kids. Since pizza is the main food group of most children of action figure age, the teenage superheroes devoured a lot of it. The colorful and less brutal toon versions of the titular Turtles just could not get enough pizza, with each episode featuring at least one slice of varying flavors. The changes made to make the Turtles more family-friendly and give them distinct personalities only sent their popularity soaring. With the pizza-loving protectors' newfound attention came just about every type of product you could imagine: action figures, figures were followed by breakfast cereals, kids' costumes, toothpaste, and of course, several video games. Ask anyone who's ever played the original NES TMNT game, and they'll tell you horror stories about the battleground about one of the most difficult video games ever created. That water level still gives us nightmares. By the time 1990 rolled around, the Ninja Turtles fought their way onto the big screen with their very first live-action film, which ended up grossing over $200 million worldwide, and for a time was the most successful independent film ever produced, until the Blair Witch Project took that crown in 1999. Part of the film's release included a partnership with deep dish royalty Pizza Hut, despite Domino's Pizza being featured in the film. Scandalous. The $20 million marketing campaign included a slew of commercials, printed ads, and even a TMNT VHS tape giveaway, complete with coupons for anyone who wanted to out-pizza the Hut. But the turtle train didn't stop there, and anyone who owned the VHS tape will remember the iconic Pizza Hut baseball ad that played just before the movie started. Hey, we played right field too. The 1989 cabinet version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the arcade game was ported to the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1990 and given the title Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 the arcade game. Bundled with this home release were additional levels, enemies, and all the Pizza Hut product placement they could cram into 8 bits. Throughout the levels, the Turtles could find pizza power-ups in the shape of Pizza Hut logos, all the while subliminally imprinting the Hut into the brains of hungry gamers everywhere. The Teenage Mutants dipped their 3 fingers into more than just pizza pies too. During the height of their popularity, you could find Ninja Turtle cookies, crackers, corn puffs, and the infamous green vanilla Hostess Ninja Turtle pies, the deep-fried holy grail of early 90s school lunches. This massive marketing undertaking for our favorite green gladiators solidified the Turtles' place in pop culture history, all the while dragging a stringy, cheesy pizza along with them. By 1990, the whole world was caught up in turtle fever, and we're not talking about fibropapillomatosis. The comic book heroes turned movie stars into getting all sorts of antics both on and off the screen, but it seemed like you simply couldn't make too much money off the Ninja Turtles. That's when Pizza Hut came up with the totally tubular idea of a live tour, where fans could see their favorite crime-fighting crew live on stage. Only this time, instead of beating up the bad guys and fighting aliens, the team would be rocking out, dancing, and playing instruments, despite only having 3 gigantic fingers. It's hard to wail on a guitar that way.
Cross between the best of Broadway and the best of rock and roll, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're lean, green, and on the music scene. We're happening!
The Coming Out of Their Shells tour, sponsored by none other than Pizza Hut, featured our fabulous foursome as they had never been seen before, in rubber costumes with studded vests and absolutely no shells to be seen. So the title was not just a clever name. The costumes featured remote-controlled eyes and mouths that could be synced to pre-recorded tracks. Concert goers in one of the 40 city stops could watch the Turtles perform songs such as Pizza Power and Tubin, with the official album only available at Pizza Hut. Pizza Power was also featured in the 1991 arcade game Turtles in Time. The heavy marketing included a VHS making-of video as well as a pay-per-view broadcast of the live event. The group even went on the Oprah Winfrey Show to promote the tour, which devolved into questions about interspecies relations and disappointed children in the audience asking where the Turtles' weapons were. You can't fight crime with the power of song. The tour, and $29 million investment which funded it, was successful enough for a small European tour called Getting Down in Your Town. Pizza Hut ended up selling around 2 million albums, and when multiplied by 8 slices of pizza per album, that equated to some pretty tasty dividends for Pizza Hut. The tour would go on to be immortalized in 2020 when toy company NECA released collectible figures of the Turtles in their tour outfits, complete with sparkly denim vests, Oprah Winfrey Show set and characters sold separately. Pizza's popularity continued to grow throughout the 90s, but the same couldn't be said for the Turtles. By the mid-90s, the Ninja Turtle bubble had popped, and the popularity began to die down. As the animated series came to an end in 1996, so too did the fat paychecks from Pizza Hut. This is where things for the Turtles got weird. Well, weirder than walking, talking turtles who fight criminals with names like Genghis Frog and Scumbug. In 1997, a live-action reboot of the Ninja Quartet titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation debuted, meant to capitalize off the success of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The Saban Entertainment-led reimagining gave the brothers a fifth sibling in Venus de Milo, a female turtle who was left behind during the initial mutation but was back to fight alongside her bros. The sequel series apparently didn't kawa enough bungas and was canceled after only one season. Turtles creator Peter Laird would go on to call this the only licensed turtle work he ever regretted, feeling it upset the balance between the four characters that had been so crucial to the Turtles' success. The show was kicked around through various reboots on screen while comics continued to fill the bookstores, even as Kevin Eastman sold his half of the brand to Laird in 2000. A successful reboot in 2003 breathed new life into the franchise, which caught the eye of kids' entertainment juggernaut Nickelodeon. They ended up buying the property in a cool $60 million deal in 2009. This allowed creator Peter Laird to walk away with a big fat payout, as well as a deal to continue drawing turtle comics on his own for however long he pleased. And with a renewed interest in the Turtles came a renewed interest in pizza sponsorships, mainly the Hut. As new Turtle movies were released, including 2 from director Michael Bay and an animated venture in 2023, Pizza Hut would continue to offer partnerships. In 2014, Pizza Hut commissioned special effects company Sin Labs to build a life-size version of the Pizza Shooter toy, one of the most popular toys in the Turtles' original Playmates line. The vehicle stands 12 feet high, 9 feet wide, and can shoot pizzas over 30 feet. Though not exactly street legal, it's still totally radical. The pizzeria paired with the Turtles in 2021 for a mutagen green pizza sauce to celebrate a partnership with Viacom CBS, and again in 2022 to offer coupons for video game fans who bought a copy of Shredder's Revenge, a recent throwback sequel to the original arcade beat-em-ups. This marked the Turtles' official return to pizza. But they weren't done yet. To promote the 2023 animated film Mutant Mayhem, Pizza Hut offered delivery to select New York City subway stations, just as the underground-dwelling Turtles intended. Now, if only they could put together another live tour. Those tickets would sell like hotcakes. So what do you think? Who is your favorite Ninja Turtle? And what's your go-to pizza order? Let us know what toppings you love down in the comments. And while you're here, check out some of these other weird history food videos.